So now it gives me great joy and pleasure to welcome my brother, Dato Chris, to share his vision. Dato.
Thank you. It's great to be back to Singapore after a 2 years break, and it's great to take off those masks and so we can gather together. And yeah, thank you, Lawrence, for giving me the opportunity to come back here and then to share with you. So good evening, friends. I'm very glad to be here with you in Singapore as we launch our journey in DesignFutures Ventures. As Lawrence has mentioned, change is very hard, and real change requires purpose, consistency, and strategic steps, or else it will not happen. I believe this is where Sarawak can be a valuable strategic partner to Singapore. It always surprised me that Singapore is so near to Sarawak, yet all of you probably know more about Thailand, but not Sarawak. So let me take this opportunity to tell you more about Sarawak, and more precisely, Kuching, the state capital of Sarawak. We have very much to offer, including our local food, such as kolomi and Sarawak laksa. It's very well known. Now, even some Singapore, the hawker chain here is going to Sarawak to take the recipe here in Sarawak to come to Singapore, trying to sell it here. So Sarawak is a very large state, and it's as large as the entire Peninsula Malaysia, which most of you know, and is half the size of New Zealand. We have a population of only 2.6 million. It is a land of wealth, and in terms of cultural diversity and biodiversity. While Sarawak is large, the focus has always been on traditional economic sectors such as timber, oil and gas, and among others. It is only in recent 3 years that we have begun to emphasize on the importance of advanced industry and such as technology and research and innovations. TSG group of companies in Sarawak, we have about 800 staff across the state involving in sustainability projects, real estate experience and development, infrastructure development, and new economy investment. Our aim is to be the implementation partner of the acceleration of Sarawak growth towards the new economy. I met Lawrence and his team from Constellus through my years in real estate business, which is Paradise. And this afternoon, Luna, my colleagues, and Jeremy has also shared a lot about Paradise, which I will not repeat it here. After we implemented the approach of Paradise with purpose, and by design, the entire townships, the entire place actually has flourished, and we have many people that is coming from all walks of life in Sarawak coming to the developments. So young people came, entrepreneurs came, innovators came. Today, Paradise is a destination for the youth and the community to gather and create opportunities in an exceptional place that celebrates all things Sarawak's in a world-class setting. The standard of the place also makes a difference. My teams at Paradise implemented an entire system that makes sure every part of the experience in this idea of Sarawakian identity ecology, and the arts. As we say that we are, there's many developers in Sarawak or in any way. I think most people is focusing on building, I think selling, and I think Sarawak is more focusing on actually building home, we're building a community. I think that's a part that we're making a difference in what Sarawak is doing now. And it is because also we believe in having a purpose in a meaning in our project. Through that uniqueness, we are able to offer the very best experience to everyone. In fact, when the Premier of Sarawak came to launch our townships in 2018, I was so proud when he said, quoted, if Singapore has MBS, then Sarawak has Sarawak. Our vision is not tall, gleaming towers, buildings, but an attractive experience formed by the hearts and the minds of Sarawakians. So beyond this, I've been looking at what kind of sustainability business we can get involved in. So sustainability is a costly endeavor. We need to find a business model that can sustain over time, positive impact on the environment, and give a future to the young. In Sarawak, the timber industry has always been a major economic sector, where the planting of tree has not been given the attention, as it is usually troublesome, and because of the gene species they're planting, and it has not been successful. So not many people is actually wanting to plant. So the sustainability project I have identified today, and which I announce it now, is called the FutureTrees, which we are happy to announce now. In TSG, we have a business in Sarawak called TSG Green. We're a lab that focuses on cultivating tissue culture to produce RT Paulownia clones. These clones, once planted, will go on to become RT Paulownia trees, also known as FutureTrees. This unique tree species has many possibilities, and being a local breed variant is adapted to a local tropical climate. It is one of the fastest growing trees in the world, and it is a very high quality timber with very fine grain. It can grow up to 50 feet tall and harvested as early as 3 years. The remaining, and another beauty of the tree is once you cut the tree, and after you cut, the tree stump will regenerate from there, and it can be regrown, regenerate up to 6 cycles. The RT Paulownia is not an invasive species. Through a thorough process taken in the lab, we make sure this variant is sterile and does not produce flowers or seeds. It will not cause any adverse impact on our existing forestry system. This is very much in line with our vision to impact a better future which not disturbing our biodiversity. You are wondering why Paulownia? Why Paulownia? Why these three species? So some 8 years ago, as we started to bring in Paulownia species from China, from Spain, from Germany, from US, and from Australia, to be planted in Malaysia, all these three species actually, they grow and they grow well until the month 7 or month 8. And somehow they stop growing and they began to die. So these three species retain the memories of the 4 seasons from their origins. And after a series of failure and on the verge of giving up, we then brought in a Paulownia from Japan. Without much hope for success, we planted 20,000 trees species, and at month 7, after planting these 20,000 tree species, all the trees died, except 5 actually survived. And this tree managed to continue growing and has adapted to the local weather, and until today, they are all 8 years old. So these are the trees. Okay, then we began doing the tissue culture from these remaining 5 trees that survived from the plant. I feel that we are very blessed as all these trees has actually survived and thrived very well. And with this, it inspired us to start the lab with tissue culture. Due to the lack of land in Peninsular Malaysia, we have brought this lab to Sarawak to scale up our operation as there are plenty of unused land to be planted. Okay, the balance of it, I hope it doesn't bore you, I go a bit technical. What is Paulownia and why Paulownia also? Okay, there are 3 pillars of sustainability for planting Paulownia. The first one is environmental sustainability. So, again, I want to emphasize here, it is not easy to plant in Sarawak, to find the right balance, as we need to balance, we have challenges, we need to have dialogues with the local community to understand how we can work together to plant all these trees. And involving them, the inclusiveness of them in the economic growth. So in terms of environmental sustainability, the Malaysian government and the Sarawak government can see that this pollen tree is a solution for global climate change. From the 12 Malaysia plan, the federal government will be introducing economical instruments such as carbon pricing, carbon tax, and in the effort to achieve carbon neutral status by 2050. The RT Paulownia tree, or the FutureTrees, is truly a feasible way of making a positive impact to the climate change. It is recognized as a carbon sink and is able to efficiently and effectively absorb greenhouse gases. And on average, RT Paulownia tree planted in 1 acre of land can produce 103 metric tons of carbon dioxide. Can absorb 103 metric tons of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. And this is 10 times more than a normal tree, which is between 1.1 ton to 9.5 tons. And what I say is not what I say, it's actually reported in Bloomberg in 2019. From the economic sustainability viewpoint, the RT Paulownia represents an extremely viable option as it is fast growing and it can be harvested within 3 years. So it represents, with that, it is giving a very good ROI, and with a proof of concept and immediate readiness for scale-up operation, we intend to sell and supply the future tree to these furniture manufacturer, construction companies, so that they will not need to take timber from the virgin forest or the protected forestry. We have mastered the tissue culture, this biotechnology, and our tissue culture lab currently has a capacity to produce an average of 1.8 million clones annually. And this is equal to 1.8 million trees a year. So RT Paulownia wood is considered lightweight wood from the hardwood category. It has high durability, and it has a very high fresh point, so it's resistant to moisture, and it can be used for fire door, and it can be used for guitar, it can be used for surfing board, and it can be used for plywood and so on. So these remarkable qualities of RT Paulownia is very ideal for downstream segment from, as I said, with the interior decorations and many more other possibilities. The fine grain and the wide appeal of RT Paulownia give rise not only to potential market, the local potential market, but also to international markets such as Singapore, Japan, Korea, North America, Europe, and Australia. Not North Korea. Yeah. Okay. The upstream segment can explore the possibility offered by the RT Paulownia. Being fast-growing and ability to regenerate overseas cycle, it represents a very attractive ROI, which is sustainable over long term. To date, it is one of the Malaysian timber industry 11 approved tree species. From the socio-economic perspective, local Sarawakian also have the option to plant the RT Paulownia trees. Whether you have 5 acres, 10 acres land, you can actually plant all those land, because this is a very practical alternative, and it can be an alternative to existing crops like palm oil. Our effort in this sustainability project has been fully welcomed and endorsed by our Premier Sarawak, and we invited him for the launch of TSG Green late last year. He was quoted as saying, again quoted from him, the local breed variant, which is Paulownia, is proven to be adapting well in our tropical climate. Hence, we can plant it in our degraded forests to ensure sustainability of the raw material for various industry and timber downstream activity. If the price of the timber is not too high, we can consider using it to build and support our various affordable housing projects. TSG Green will collaborate with prospective partners and the local community to share the knowledge of planting and caring of RT Paulownia. This is to ensure optimum yield and quality can be attained and add value to either land and generate handsome income for the landowners. So TSG Green is hopeful of making a meaningful contribution to the Sarawak government initiative of planting 35 million trees by 2025. We aspire that perhaps 10% of the licensed planted forests can be planted with RT Paulownia. And our tissue culture lab is ready to produce 3.6 million explants in the next 2 years, and many more with ever-increasing capacity. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce the planting of 1 million future trees. And if you are interested to be part of this project, please talk to Lawrence, DesignFutures, and I hope all of you can join us on this journey to shape a better future by design. Thank you.